Welcome to the Adamantly Analog, a board gaming podcast, or just Adamantly Analog. I don't know. Do we need that?
Nope, we don't.
All right, let me try again. This is episode 50, in which we attempt to speak about 50 games in 50 minutes or less. Will we succeed? You'll have to listen to find out. Hello, welcome to Adamantly Analog, a board gaming podcast. I'm your host, Corey Murphy.
And I'm your host, Harrison Dunn.
And this is the very 50th episode of this podcast. We haven't missed a single week for 50 weeks straight.
Despite our best efforts.
I mean, we've made pretty good efforts to not miss a week.
Yep. Yeah, hey, good job, Corey. I think we can call it quits now.
Yeah, there are 52.1429 weeks in a year. That means in 2 episodes, we will be on our 1-year anniversary. 2.19.
Such a teacher thing to say.
1429 episodes. Yeah. So at the, the 14% mark of the 52nd episode, we'll stop and celebrate, okay?
Okay, I'll have a bottle of champagne ready.
Well, now, this episode, on the other hand, I don't know which one's more significant, the 1 year or the 50, because 50 is just a nice round number. I don't know, for whatever reason, our society views it as a landmark. And we will too, because we're going to just completely flip the script here. This could be either our best episode ever, or it could be the worst episode ever.
Just like every episode.
Well, I'm saying it's probably not going to be somewhere in the middle. I mean, this is a wild plan we have here, and it might go okay.
So, Corey, before we get into that plan, I'm gonna already deviate from what we've set forth here, and I want to take a quick moment to shout out someone very special. I want to shout out you.
Oh my gosh, Harrison!
Yeah, I heard through the grapevine of our friend John that you recently received an award for the greatest teacher of all time.
No. Oh man, that's funny. Did John put you up to that?
No. Yes. Did you not win an award?
No, I did on Monday, but greatest teacher of all time. That's funny. Our district has like a recognition that they do for 4 teachers each year in different categories. And it is Teacher Appreciation Week, so that's how they kick it off. And yes, that was, as I mentioned earlier off the cast, that was one of the staff meetings I was almost late to. But yeah, it was very nice. They brought my family in and everything. And
awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, congrats. Good teacher.
Well, Harrison, in the interest of gratitude, I'll say I want to shout out you too, Harrison, because we've been doing this together for 50 weeks. And I brought this crazy idea to you last year thinking, yeah, Harrison might be interested. I had no idea you'd be as invested as you are, and I thank you for being an equal share partner in the deal.
I had no idea either.
And here you are. You're stuck now, Harrison. There's no getting away from it.
Oh, no.
Just kidding. I've enjoyed it. This has been fun. That's where I expected you to say that you also enjoyed it, but the pause.
Yes, I'm also having fun. We did a little podcast pause there, to give the other person a chance to speak. And sometimes it's just an awkward silence.
Yeah. Well, I try to cut those out, but I'm gonna leave this one in because it was meaningful.
Those meaningful awkward silences.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you wanna lead us into what we got going on today?
Yeah, I'm about to start the timer, and when I do, our plan is to spend our 50th episode spending 50 minutes talking about 50 board games. And that's about all we got for you. And from there, like I said, it could be great, it could be terrible, and I think it's going to be awesome, Harrison. I've had a lot of coffee today. I'm ready to fire away, and I've got plenty to talk about, having just gone to a convention. But this could be our last episode too. Who knows?
Do you have lots of water with you too?
I have 1 can of Polar Seltzer water, ginger lime mule flavor.
Oh man, drinking seltzer and recording. Better edit out those burps.
Yeah, I might have some burps. I drink seltzer all day long though, so my body is accustomed to it. Are you ready? Should we count down?
Yeah, just do it. Let her rip.
2, 1. All right, the clock is started. Harrison.
Oh wait, no, don't start.
No, it's okay. It can't stop now.
Oh, can't stop. There you go. There's the first board game. I'm just gonna say it right away. You've played Can't Stop, right? The classic push your luck dice game.
I have, yeah, I don't remember how it goes. That's the first game that you are introduced to on BGA when you make
Yeah.
an account. You're forced to play a game of it. So that's the time I played it when I was forced to.
I've played it
Yeah.
multiple times voluntarily. It's actually pretty fun.
Is it? It's kind of
Yeah.
like an old school game that's been remade many, many times, right?
Yep. Yeah. Well, yeah. Keep on reprinted with different versions. The old crappy. The old janky plastic version is a lot of fun to play too in
Oh,
person.
yeah. Are you like pegging your way up a mountain or something by
Yeah,
rolling
they're
dice?
these little cones on a giant like plastic stop sign.
Hmm.
Yep.
Wow. I just want to be a plastic stop sign.
Now that I've derailed you, what else are you? What are you playing this time?
Oh no, don't worry about that because I have a good segue. I saw this game played over the weekend, and you're supposed to ask where.
You saw Can't Stop played?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was at the Gaming Hoopla convention in Milwaukee, which used to be down in Mundelein, Illinois, near Chicago. But it has moved to Milwaukee, and I'm very thankful because it's one of my favorite conventions to attend. And I got to play a whole lot of games. So I'm about to just knock out about 6 points right here. On Friday night, after a long day of work, I went straight to the convention and I had like late night games planned. So I started my night off with Unmatched, which I asked you off the cast if you'd played and you said you didn't. I'm not sure if this is a Harrison game or not. It's very confrontational, one on one.
Yeah, I'm I'm very interested in it because it's got like the whole giant mix and match cast of characters, but
Yeah.
the gameplay itself, I'm sure I could take it or leave it. I'm very
Yeah.
interested in the cooperative like campaign version of it though. That sounds like a lot
Yes.
of fun.
That is Tales to Amaze, I think it's called. Yeah, there's one of them so far, but they're making a Ninja Turtles one too.
Oh,
um,
there you go.
yeah, so that's like a very specific well, I think there's a lot of Turtles fans out there, but it doesn't really appeal to me. So I'm kind of like, it could be anything else, and maybe I'd be interested.
By
But
the way, I'm
anyways,
only counting that as one entry. That's Unmatched and Tales to Amaze. Like they're two
that's
different games,
fair.
but we're gonna count them as one. So
That's fair. Well, I will
got to be
say the
hard on
guy
ourselves.
the guy that hosted this had like 7, 8 boxes on the table, and he introduced it to us as you pick your favorite character to play, and you just pair up with someone across the table from you. Doesn't matter which expansion it came from. So, I was like this samurai dude for a while, and I played as the Velociraptors from Jurassic Park for a while. Those raptors are crazy.
So we should go back and forth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So when you talking about Unmatched, that just makes me think of Dice Throne. You played that one?
No, but I get the same vibe where
Oh,
it's like, yeah, you want to pair against
yeah,
new combinations of characters, right?
yeah. There's a lot of different characters, and now especially that they've branched off into like Marvel licensed characters, so now you can play as Spider-Man and Wolverine and Deadpool and Storm and stuff, which is kind of cool. Uh,
Yeah.
that was like the last head-to-head really confrontational game that I got into, and I still have my season 2 box set. I think I got rid of my season 1 box set just because I got like the very first printing that didn't have the super nice dice trays and everything.
Hmm.
But now I'm on the season 2 stuff. I probably won't get rid of it just because it's nice to have, but
Yeah.
definitely made me realize it's not my type of game.
Is it anything like role player?
No, not at all. No, it's battle Yahtzee.
Okay,
You
but
just
role
take
player
turns
is
chucking
kind of like
dice.
Yahtzee.
No, it's not. What are you talking about?
I mean, in a sense, like well, I guess it's not. What am I talking about?
I mean,
I
you
don't
said
know.
role
I
player,
don't
so
know.
that's your game now, right?
That is my game, and I wasn't trying to force that in. That's an actual factual question I have about this because I don't know. The role player is you're drafting dice and you're putting them into your board. You're keeping those dice, but I guess you're not really rolling the rest of them. Is that a factor in dice tower? Dice throne, sorry.
Dice Throne. Dice Throne. You have your own set of bespoke custom dice, and each turn you take one turn at a time. You roll your dice 3 times, slot them into your abilities, and then fire them off and play cards. Whereas role player is a shared pool of drafting. So one player draws, you know, dice based on the number of players, rolls them all, and then they're drafted one at a time. And the dice are just regular 6-sided dice, but they have different colors that mean different things.
Okay. That actually reminds me of a game that I've been interested in playing for a long time, similar in mechanics, I think, but I really don't have any experience with it. I have a bunch of promos for Marvel Dice Masters, which
Oh,
is actually kind of like a TCG version of this kind of concept. And yeah, there are all these like really cool cards. They're like a TCG card game, but the mechanic is like rolling dice, and I think assigning those dice to some of the actions that those characters can take.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that one. That one used to be really big. Did that count as a board game, right? I mean, we're counting that?
Yeah, it definitely does. I
Okay.
got I got the promos from the Gaming Hoopla board game convention last year. So yeah, I made a whole stack of them.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those games that doesn't really seem to be well supported anymore, so I'm kind of like, well, maybe I can get some discounts on it. I don't know. But I really don't
Right.
need another TCG in my life, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, those lifestyle games can be a little bit cumbersome to get into.
Yeah.
Even when they're not, you know, booster packs and highly collectible elements to them.
Right, right.
And you talk about Marvel Dice Masters. What episode of Adamantly Analog would this be if we didn't talk about Marvel Champions, another, Marvel hugely collectible game, right?
Yes. Yes. And it has, if the concept of collecting different packs appeals to you because you're interested in kind of lodging them together and seeing how they work together, Marvel Champions is the poster child of that concept.
I do have to have a little admission of guilt here. I got really into it at the start of the year or at the end of last year, and I was
Mhm.
like, I bought a couple hero packs. I bought the Next Evolution campaign box, and then I just stopped playing it. I haven't played that campaign box yet. Sleeved the whole thing up, and I was ready to go, and then I got distracted by something else, and I haven't touched it yet. But
Mm.
waiting for me. It's just staring me down every day.
Yeah, as much as I love this game, I have to say the campaigns are like a little lackluster. I think the boxes are good because of the value you get from, the heroes that they include in the villain sets, but the actual campaign is just like it almost seems like five unrelated matches that you're going to play. There's some elements that carry over and they're just more cumbersome than anything to me, but I do
Oh,
recommend
okay.
buying them for what they provide.
Okay. Yeah, they seem pretty cool, so I was looking forward to checking it out at some point. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, if you like a game where you can combine Marvel heroes and have them fight any Marvel villains, there's so much content there. You can probably find the two characters you want to smash up and duke it out with.
Yes, which brings us to legendary. I mean, I was gonna sell my Marvel Legendary set, and I actually posted it for like 150, $200. I can't even remember. So I've got the base game, Marvel Legendary villains, and then a whole bunch of expansions. And someone got back to me and they're like, "Do you know that Marvel villains is worth like $200 on its own?" And I was like, "Damn, I did not know that." But that one is like out of print, I guess.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Marvel
Back when it
Legendary is kind
was
of the OG.
right when it was back when I still had my copy, Paint the Town Red, I think, with like one of the Spider-Man expansion, mini expansion, was
Hmm.
also like $100 for those little 20 or 30 card pack, or whatever it was, because they,
Yeah.
yep, it's Marvel stuff, people love it, and it was hard to find. So
And that game
it's
that game does a good job of letting you combine heroes too, because
yeah.
there's different ways that they can play off each other. They sort of feed off of playing cards of the same color in some cases. But it's also a really good example of how some of the combinations just absolutely do not work at all, and they can go really off the rails.
So we've done 3 Marvel games in a row.
Yeah,
I think I just have to do DC a service and talk about the DC deck building game. You've played that one, right? The Ultra Cryptozoic.
yeah. With you showed it to me. It's
Yeah.
very similar to Legendary mechanically.
Well, it's a lot simpler, I think,
Yeah,
right? Because it's
agreed.
it's it's kind of like Ascension, where it's just got the middle row of cards that comes out, just the single row of cards, and then you're just building up like fight or recruit and duking it out. There is something so comforting about that game system, that just like real simple deck builder, and the fact that you can apply it to so many different genres, or so many different types of games,
Hmm.
was really kind of neat. I think they definitely overdid it, but
Yeah.
some of them were pretty cool.
So is it actually officially from the same lineage as Ascension? I know it's mechanically similar, and
I don't think so.
um,
No, Ascension is Stoneblade Entertainment, Justin Gary's company, and
uh-huh.
then the Cryptozoic deck building line is like separate from that. That's a different group of people. I'd be interested to
Gotcha.
see what the relationship is there, because they were around the same time. I know Ascension came first. It was like one of the first to do the big stack of cards in the middle river idea.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Speaking of this whole idea of modular sets and different IPs being brought in, I did get to play 20 Strong over the weekend at the convention too, which is the Chip Theory Games attempt at doing their own kind of like living card game kind of thing.
Oh, really?
It's
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
cool. Have you seen these?
I remember hearing of it,
Yeah.
but I have not actually played it.
Yeah, the base game is like this tiny box. I mean, it can almost fit in your pocket if you're wearing like cargo pants or something. But it's called 20 strong because it has 20 dice, and the whole idea is that you're fighting a bunch of NPC characters. The base game comes with solar sentinels, which is this kind of space marine kind of thing. And you roll this big stack of dice and choose the ones you want to apply as hits, and anything that's committed gets put back in the box or taken out of your pool. And so you can only recover a certain number of dice each turn. So you kind of have to like push it and use those 20 hits as efficiently as you can before, you run out of gas. It was pretty cool.
They
Yeah,
do
go ahead.
like some sort of crossover storytelling with that too, right? Like there's different
Yeah.
sets for Chip Theory's different IPs.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they all have. I know there's a Too Many Bones one. Um Hoplomachus Victorum, Tanglewood's Red, Cloudspire. Yeah, so it's all the Chip 3 games. Yeah.
Oh boy, I don't know. We shouldn't really count all of those because you just listed off a bunch of games. We're not here to just list off games, are we?
No, those don't count.
Making up
This is all-
making up some arbitrary rules on the fly here.
well, that's kind of how this one's rolling. So, anyways, I played that solo. I thought it was pretty cool. It was in the play to win. I did not win it, but here we are. Also, Harrison, speaking of cool card games, I did run a game of Forest Shuffle on Sunday, and
Oh,
that
you
game
did.
remains cool.
Did you use the scoring app or did you actually count it up yourself?
No, I actually prefer to do it on paper because the scoring app, you get the scores and then you have to stare at it and verify that it actually did what it's supposed to do. And that just takes a little bit out of the fun out of it. I like to go around the table and say, okay, how much did you get for the top and bottom? Because someone like literally had 69 points for their top and bottoms and then
Nice.
nothing left and right because he was doing birds. Yeah, it's kind of fun to see how lopsided each of those categories can be.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
I taught new players this one,
Oh yeah.
a couple of new players, and someone that was even new to board games as overall. And the a number of times I got asked how the binoculars in this game worked, it was like it was every turn. And they were very nice people. I'm not teasing, but that is that kind of weird like obtuse concept in this game. Whereas everything else is really pretty straightforward. The binoculars has to do with what color cards you discarded to play cards, and it's just like a little bit too far sometimes.
Oh yeah, yeah. I vaguely remember that for the one or two times that I played that game.
Yeah.
Well, Corey, you played a lot more games this weekend. I see that you wrote down you finally busted out Galactic Cruise. Tell me about that.
Finally, I've been playing this game a lot. Galactic Cruise I ran at the convention too. I scheduled it for 3 hours, and it would have taken probably like five and a half to actually finish the game. I love Galactic Cruise. That's one of my top worker placement games of all time now, and
Oh,
I've played
really?
it. I think I played it 3 or 4 times only. So obviously there's room for growth there. But I've spent a lot of time with the game learning it and just researching it to begin with, so I had a good idea of what I was getting into. But that game is sweet. It is heavy, but it is worth the effort because it's so fun and thematic.
Yeah, there's been a lot of those recently of like heavily thematic worker placement, Euro style games like Endeavor Deep Sea. That's what I'm gonna bring up as well. I
Mhm.
really want to try that one again. So hey,
Yeah.
Scott, if you're listening to this, bring it next time. We'll play. uh, yeah, I really liked that one. It kind of just stuck with me after the fact. I played that and another around the same time, and I think that just kind of stands out more for just like the flexibility of the things you can do in a game, and it
Mhm.
felt like more clear what your pivot options were. Your tactical decision makings and the implications of that.
I thought Endeavor did a good job of making it seem relatable from the get-go, and then as you explored it more, they like widened up because the
Hmm.
different tiles you move through have all sorts of different mechanics introduced, which I think is a really good place to be with a game.
And that ability to like draft a new worker tile every round is just so satisfying. Like it's such a
Yeah.
big power spike, and seems so cool to be able to get those abilities.
Right, and they're all like in front of you at the start of the game. However, you can only access the first column of them. That's the only thing you can afford at the beginning. So
Hmm.
it takes, you sort of learn the game as it ratchets up in complexity. Speaking of, this one was it was lighter than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be heavier, and I wonder if Endeavor Age of Sail is heavier. It looks like a bigger sprawling game. I know it's got problematic theming, but curious.
Yeah, I haven't played that one. I heard that the others in the Endeavor series have not been as well received as Deep Sea has.
Okay.
Yeah, but I haven't played them, so take what you will from that.
Yeah. So we really have no information on that.
Yep,
Just that
yep.
it
So
exists.
I wrote down Endeavor Age of Sail as a game we have talked about, but really we are talking about not having played it. So
Yeah.
it's up to you whether you put a ding after that one or not.
Well, it's been one that's been interesting to me for a long time, but the fact that this
Oh, okay.
alternative version came out, I was like, okay, I'll just play that one instead, and I have, and I liked it. So Age of Sail gets my, or Deep Sea gets my recommendation for sure.
Well, what else have you been playing at this big old gaming hoopla?
Oh yeah, so I got a lot played. I even though I was busy this weekend, I squeezed in a lot of stuff, and I taught most of the games too. So we did Galactic Cruise. After that, I did a game of Innovation, and it happened to be a game where most players have played it before, or at least have tried it once. So we did work in some of the expansions, which
Oh,
is the whole
nice.
point of Innovation Ultimate, because it's just a big giant box of all the expansions. So we did the brand new one, the Unseen, which is the one that comes in Innovation Ultimate only. And I took that to be a complicated addition to the game because it was the latest one, the latest iteration, but it's actually
Okay.
ranked as like one of the easier, more accessible expansions and doesn't do a whole lot to change the mechanics. Whereas some of the others add some kind of wonky, draw rules and things like that. So I
Yeah.
won't say too much about it. Basically it's just more cards, but there is one thing you can do where you sort of safeguard the achievement points. And Harrison, having just played this recently, you remember there's always a race over getting the first age achieved
Hmm.
before someone else does. Now you can kind of
Yeah.
take them and reserve them for yourself.
Oh, neat. Yeah. I actually saw a used copy of this at one of the local game stores for like $10. Just the base game, the regular
Yeah,
Innovation. I
yeah,
almost snapped it up, and I was like, you know what? I got a lot on my unplayed shelf, and I'm trying to save money right now.
yeah.
Let's not. I'll just play it with Corey next time.
It's hard to pass up though. For $10, you get a lot of game in a little box with innovation. That's why
Yep,
people
yep.
love it.
It was quite a bit. Yeah.
Now, if you found a copy of Glory to Rome on that shelf for $10, and you know better than to leave that one behind, right?
Oh yeah. No, I know that because I can just turn around and sell it for 20.
20. You'll have no problem selling it for 20.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I can make a quick $10. There you go. And then that guy's gonna go make a quick $10, and then that guy's gonna go make a quick $10 until 20 people have made a quick $10.
Yeah, there you go. Glory to Rome is amazing. Speaking of a lot of punch in a small box, that game does a lot. So I think
Yeah,
innovation is actually kind of edging it out as a favorite for me, believe it or not. But I don't know. Maybe it's just the cult of the new. I don't know.
maybe. Yeah. Do you know which one actually came first? It was Glory to Rome first, right?
That's a good question. I
Pretty
don't know.
sure. Pretty sure
Glory
it was.
to Rome. Let's
Let's
see.
no,
Glory to
we
Rome
don't have time to fact check ourselves, Corey.
25.
We're on a timer and we're already behind the curve.
Oh,
Don't
I'm
look at that.
confident. We're gonna finish this thing in 25 minutes.
Yeah, if we
Probably
just start
not.
rattling off games, but that's no fun for anyone.
Glory to Rome came out 5 years earlier than Innovation.
Okay.
Big difference.
I am realizing that there's probably a big flaw in the decision to do the episode like this, and it's
Uh-huh.
that if people haven't heard of these games or aren't familiar with them, we usually do a quick rules explainer. We're not doing that. We're just kind of going, and hopefully we don't talk about any game too long. So if you don't know what it is, then you can just move on and not be upset by it because we're going
Hey,
to talk about another game right away, right?
this is episode 50. If you're here, you know your games.
Well, or you're a new listener. Hey, new listener, thanks for joining. Well, okay, let's mention a game that everyone knows the rules to, right? That is Monopoly. Yeah, I'm gonna add
Oh
Monopoly to our
god.
list. Yep, yep. I mean, as terrible as this game is, it still has its place, right? It's still
Yeah.
it is valuable for what it is to a lot of people, like
Yeah.
the broader culture of board games. Even if that's the touchstone, it is a touchstone for a bunch of people, and it still gets people together. And if I'm talking to someone who's not familiar with board games and telling them why I love it, they're going to be they're still gonna be able to relate to that idea of like gathering around a table with friends to do something together, even if that's in the context of Monopoly. So it could
Yeah.
be like, yeah, you know that those all those good times you had with your friends and family growing up playing Monopoly. Well, imagine that they were actually good and you weren't yelling and screaming at each other because you landed on boardwalk with a hotel or something.
And you don't even have to deluxify your game pieces because they already come with a metal bathtub.
That's true. Yes, modern board gaming needs more metal bathtubs.
Yeah. There, production on Monopoly is very, you know, consumer level big box store sort of deal. But for whatever reason, those metal pieces remain a constant in copies of Monopoly. I'm sure there's plastic versions of it too. Whatever.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure there are. What other modern games have metal pieces that aren't deluxe crazy versions?
Well, uh, I do have one, but was it you that mentioned that Great Western Trail was it just a fancy version of Monopoly? Did you say that?
Uh no, maybe. I don't know. We'd have to go back and listen to 49 episodes to see if I said that.
I resent that, but I see where you're coming from. If that was you, I think it was. The point of
Uh
just doing loops around the board and hoping not to land on your opponent's spaces. Yeah, that's Great Western Trail. There's definitely more to it.
I feel like there's a Dice Tower video that's like, if you liked Monopoly, you should try this. And they said Great Western Trail. That would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see the similarities.
I just don't see Monopoly people going to YouTube to look for like the next
No,
level game.
right. I really like Monopoly. Dear AI, give me another game like Monopoly, and they'll be like, "All right, here's NFL Monopoly, here's Harry Potter Monopoly,
Yeah.
here's Catopoly."
Ding, ding, ding. Do we count all those?
No, no, we don't. Gosh, no.
Have you played the new Great Western Trail? There's like a smaller one on BGA and in print now too. El Paso.
Oh no, it's a completely like re-implementation, like an easier version of it.
That's my understanding. It looks like like a shorter, more accessible version of it.
Oh,
And I don't know what similar mechanics it has, but if you look at the pictures of it, it has a real nice fabric board, kind of like Pax Pamir.
okay.
Um, and I'm looking at cow cards and the same kind of, I don't know, it looks like the same kind of system. But yeah, just they're tiny cards though, tiny cows.
I'll have to yeah see what that's all about. I just assumed with all the Great Western Trail versions that they're making that we would not need to know more about that, but okay, I guess that's fine.
Well, they gotta onboard new players is what they're doing here.
Mm, that's
This is a
right. So they're
trend.
yeah making the My Little Scythe to the Scythe uh things like that, right?
Okay, I don't think it's quite that rudimentary. They have 2.92 weight out of 5, but maybe more so like the Pirates like Maracaibo as the onboard to Maracaibo, the fully fledged game, which is still heavy, but a lot more accessible. Or what's the doesn't Terra Mystica have that too?
Uh, maybe what's the wasn't there another one that was sort of oh yeah Terra Nova?
Terra Nova, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Which was a terrible example of what that game could do because Terra Nova is not a good game. I'm sorry. I did not enjoy that one. And I love Terra Mystica. But Terra Nova was the Walmart edition of it that is significantly watered down and takes all of the fun out of it as an effort to get people involved in the actually good game.
You know what? I think we have to go back and count all the games that we mentioned, and we just see like how many we can do in 50 minutes
Uh
instead of make sure we hit the threshold of 50 games. Um,
huh.
you know, and the rule is we just have to do it in context, right? We have to be talking about things that are related. We just can't sit here and like read off our board game shelves. So I am going to go back and count uh, Too Many Bones and Cloudspire and Hoplomachus because you were
Okay. All
talking
right.
about this
Fine.
in the context of I don't know how to spell Hoplomachus. I'm trying to write this down as we go live. Um, but
You do you,
yeah,
Harrison, because I'm just making a list here, and my goal remains the same. I'm gonna try to hit 50, but we just won't know if we've accomplished that before we're done today.
we'll only know by the edit. All right. So we just talked about a bunch of crazy games. You want to circle back to Pax Pamir. What is Pax Pamir? I like
um,
sort of know of it, but I don't know actually what
yeah.
it is.
So the PAX system,
Was that one of those Cole Whirly games?
PAX Premier Second Edition is a Cole Whirly game.
Okay.
The PAX system is like basically a historical Euro game system, and I don't know what is mechanically similar about these games, but they're very information heavy, I guess. Like, I'm looking at Pax Pamir Second Edition cards, and I think the things that matter on them are like the corner of the card where the symbols are represented, but most of the text on the card is just a bunch of context, just a bunch of flavor text.
Oh, okay.
Um, and this game is about what is it about? It's countries vying for control of Afghanistan. It's the Great Game, so it's a very specific historical moment. A significant one at that, but something that doesn't get covered in gaming very often.
So you haven't played it.
I have not played it. I almost
Okay.
bought it once. I was like making an offer to someone because this is one of the top 100 games. It's 48 overall, and it's really stunning. I mean, it's a fabric mat. The pieces are really unique and kind of, uh, I don't know, they're sort of detailed in cool ways. But I listened to a review of it, and I was like, I just don't think my gaming group would do it. It's a little confrontational.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I feel like the Cole Worley games, especially when he goes down that historical rabbit hole, are just not for me.
Yeah.
But that being said, I've not played any of them, so who knows?
Well, have you heard about the latest one? It's really interesting. The Molly House.
Molly House, yeah, I have heard of that one.
Yeah. So Molly House, and okay, this is like kind of a great example of how Cole Worley will just latch onto a theme and just tell a tale that you almost would not expect. He's like really covering some stuff that is really uncommon for board games with John Company and Pax Premier. And now Molly House is about, I think it's like kind of gay culture in the 1700s in London. That's the concept here. Is you're throwing parties and trying to avoid persecution from the government, which
Oh,
is
okay.
kind of a dark story to tell.
Right. And then isn't it like your victory points are just called like joy or love, like you're just trying to win joy?
It could be. I know that
I think I
the
remember hearing something
not
about that.
winning it could be that you just got hanged. I mean, it's like
Oh,
it's
geez.
like I said, it's dark. Yeah.
Ah, Corey, you better put a content warning at the beginning of this episode just in case.
Okay.
But if you're
Yeah.
going to put a content warning, we might as well talk about like some really unsavory games, like,
Yeah. While we're
uh,
here.
yeah. While we're here, oh God, I can't believe I'm going to say this. Cards Against Humanity.
Mm,
That's an
okay,
unsavory
that's where you went from
experience.
there.
Yeah, no, I couldn't actually think of anything because the board game community is generally pretty wholesome.
Yeah. Generally, I'm trying to think of games where they do have uncomfortable content that aren't just like Arkham Horror type of games. Call it like the Call of Cthulhu card game, LCG.
Right, right. Yeah,
There's like
those are more
some
of just like macabre horror, not like psychological real world horror.
Yeah, but it's kind of messed up what happens in some of those stories, though. I mean, I said Call of Cthulhu is the Arkham Horror card game. Sorry, I misspoke.
Right.
But yeah, a lot of body horror stuff gets really grotesque.
Yeah, sounds great. Very spooky. Yep, big time spooky, Corey. Quick circle back to Cards Against Humanity. If you own a copy of that, don't sell it. Just throw it in the garbage. It's the kind of humor that punches down. So like
Yeah.
it was really fun in college, and then I realized like all of the jokes that we were making were usually at the expense of other people who were less fortunate. And it's kind of gross. It's kind of gross how big it was.
Uh,
So I'm glad that like it existed. It was a cool thing, but it should probably not exist anymore.
but remember how Apples to Apples was Cards Against Humanity before it existed, and it was wholesome, but then you would just have your own inside jokes about things, and
Yes, I
yeah,
think that is the acceptable way to do it. To you play the goofy cards in apples to apples and play to your group's meta.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man, we got apples to apples and Monopoly on this list. It's like we're trying to appeal to a
Yeah,
a very casual audience. If we
don't
put all
worry.
of these board game names in our episode description, just think of the SEO.
Oh, that's why we're doing this. I forgot.
This is great. Hey, next week, join us for next week. We're going to talk about 51 games in 51 minutes. That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Well, Corey, I feel really bad that you've been talking so much about like all these crazy games. I was trying to keep track of who was talking about which game, and you had been grossly in the lead with just talking about games. So I feel like I should bring up something to talk about.
Yeah, get to work, Harrison.
Yeah, let me tell you, I got a chance to play I mentioned Lost Ruins of Arnak finally got to the table for myself,
Yeah.
and that game is just I cannot get it out of my head. I want to play more and more and more, and I don't know what it is about it. Like worker placement games aren't like super novel to me anymore. Like they not that they feel like a solved mechanic or genre, but
Hmm.
they're it's almost like I just want them to be a vehicle for something else, the way that like deck building has gone in things like
Yeah.
Lost Ruins of Arnak. Um, but there's so much more to do with it than just worker placement in that game. That the worker placement is only one of the like a third of what you're actually doing in the game, and it's an important third, but it's still only a part of it, which is kind of cool. And I definitely have to get that expansion now. The co-op one that you
Hmm.
mentioned,
Yeah.
it's just a 2-player campaign, right?
It's solo or two player. Yeah.
Solo or it's solo or 2-player.
Yeah.
Even more reason, yeah, definitely want to check that out.
I
So
mean,
yeah, the like
you
pulpy action version or theming of that is a lot of fun.
I think you need both expansions for it to work. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that.
There's
And
only two
and if
expansions, right?
yeah, there's only two, but the other one introduces like the other characters.
Yeah,
Um,
I got
it
that one. I got
Oh,
both
you
of
do?
them
Okay. Okay. Good.
for $25.
Okay. If I recall, I think the campaign expansion does have like alternate setups if you don't have this, the first expansion, whatever. But I would
Okay.
recommend getting both because they're great. The asymmetric factions is really cool. Yeah, and I supported the big box storage with the third expansion baked into that one. Did you see this?
No, I didn't. There's that other
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, CGE is doing like a big box that I think the pre-order is done now, but it'll be
Okay.
retail. Um,
That's probably why the guy sold me his version. He probably went for that big box.
but it's just an empty box. It's an empty box with one
Well,
new expansion. It just
maybe
fits
not.
everything that the game has. So, yeah, I'm a sucker for that stuff, especially since my box of Arnak is just a mess right now. There's so much stuff in there. Yeah, that game is incredible, and I could see why you like it. It seems like a game that Harrison would enjoy being a Clank fan. It's not really
Yep.
similar to Clank, but the concept of deck building and movement is definitely
Yeah.
present in,
Yeah,
in
for
its
sure.
own way,
Well,
and efficiency.
I'm glad you brought up Clank because I will not count that as two separate games, and I'll count it as Clank Legacy 2 Acquisitions Incorporated, Darkest Magic, because we finally got that to the table again last weekend, and we're I think we're officially at the halfway mark for the campaign,
Oh yeah,
but oh boy, does that game mix it up. Like something happens at the start of game 5 and you're just like, "Wait, what?" And it almost feels like a completely different game. Like you're still playing Clank, it's still Clank, but just the dynamic shift that they do, the paradigm shift with that game was
yeah.
just like, whoa, it was super cool. Definitely made us like think about everything way differently. So, if you haven't got a chance to check that out, that is super fun.
Maybe it's too soon to say, but do you like it better than Clank Legacy One?
No,
No.
not so
Okay.
far.
Okay. All right.
But that's just because I'm at a different stage in my life with it, and the people that we're playing with are too. Like when we played it the first time, the people that we're playing with did not have kids, and now they have kids. So I can't tell if the individual games are longer or they just feel longer because we're all more tired.
Yeah, the reason I asked was because I've never played either of them, and it's something we've toyed around with for a long time. And I didn't know if I should just skip right to Clank Legacy 2, but it seems like Clank Legacy 1 is highly regarded, and
Yeah.
I would feel
I
remiss to
would say
not pick it up.
probably go with Clank Legacy 1 just because it's probably a little easier to get a hold of. It's
Okay.
still super cool. Like either one that you go with is going to be a great experience. And there's not a story that's told between them. You're playing separate characters. Like there's going to be some crossovers from the general like Acquisitions Incorporated brand, but if you
Mhm.
know that brand, then you know the characters, and if you don't know that brand, it doesn't matter. So
Gotcha.
either one is fine.
We're in a campaign right now with some friends. We're doing Imperial Assault, which I had never played before, but I obviously have experience with Descent, which was punishingly hard, and I ended up selling that. But Star Wars Imperial Assault is the Star Wars version of that, and it requires a dungeon master. I don't know if they
Oh,
have an
really?
app for this one, but that's kind of the concept of Descent too. It's one player plays as the monsters, and everyone else is kind of working through a campaign against them. And it's kind of a clever way of doing it. There's rules that dictate how the monsters can move, of course, because it's a board
Hmm.
game and not an RPG. And so, they have their own deck of cards. You have your abilities and such, but it's really fun to kind of discover what the characters are able to do, and kind of open up possibilities in the item shops as you go through the campaign. And yeah, we're enjoying it.
Hmm. I don't think I knew that that was like a campaign style game in the matter of Descent. I think I've played Descent once, but anytime I see like those big box Star Wars games and
Hmm.
specifically Imperial Assault, I just assume it's like a miniatures style game or a war game or something, and that is not for me. But
Oh yeah,
that sounds like way more interesting. And
yeah. This is way more focused. You're
yeah.
just a character walking through a series of rooms, opening doors, fighting monsters,
Oh man,
collecting computer
you're
things.
talking about gaming now.
Yeah, I
Just
am.
a character walking through a series of rooms.
Well, it's a campaign game, like an RPG style campaign game. Uh,
Or you want to know my favorite game where you walk through a series of rooms as a dude?
yeah, what?
Slay the Spire.
Harrison, you got to work on your segues.
I mean, you are the map is a series of rooms, and you play as a dude. Like you don't walk as
Yeah,
directly, right? You just kind of move a token that's a
yeah,
boot, which is
yes,
used
I
for
love Slay the
walking,
Spire.
right?
Yep.
But yeah, that's a. Is it? It's like so. Star Wars Imperial Assault is like its own story campaign. It's not like a repeatable thing, or how close is it to like a on the spectrum between campaign and legacy? Where does it fall?
Oh, I mean, I think it's more legacy than anything. Like it is. You can start it over whenever you want. There's no pieces damaged, but I think it's a longer experience than
Okay,
just Slay the Spire runs kind of deal.
okay, yeah, I put that more firmly in the campaign category.
Wait, what is the difference? Legacy means that you can't play it again, or what?
Yeah, generally the at least in my brain space that the legacy games are the ones that have permanent changes to the components that make your copy of the game unique, and
Okay.
uh, you have a bespoke copy of the game when you're done. Whereas a campaign game would be just you reset it and pass it on or replay it as is.
Okay.
So it sounds like it's more campaign, and I guess the in between would be
Yeah.
like maybe you have character sheets and those characters change throughout the course of the game and then you can replay as those characters or so I don't know. I don't
Mm.
actually know.
Well, there are a lot of Star Wars games out there that are the dudes on the map ones, and I have dabbled with almost all of them, but I'm not really a Star Wars person. But we've played Rebellion, which is the big old one versus many feeling. Well, it is a one-on-one battle game. You can do two-on-two if you want to, but the concept of this one is like you're the rebels and you have very small representation throughout the galaxy, and you're trying to combat the Empire. And like many other Fantasy Flight games, it has really like pointed story hooks in the cards that you play, where Star Wars fans are like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do that thing that happened in this movie," and I'm looking at them like, "Okay, how does it work mechanically? I don't understand the references anyway."
Yeah, I think maybe this is probably the one that I was thinking of when you said Imperial Assault.
Yeah,
Both of the boxes just blend together in my mind.
yeah. This is another one that's in the top 100. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, the Star Wars Rebellion, I think War of the Ring, and also the Dune War for Arrakis are all kind of the same lineage. And
Oh,
I played Dune and I played Star Wars. I've never played War of the Ring. But they again, the same thing exists where if you're the Fremen, you have this disadvantage you're trying to overcome, and it seems like the Sardaukar are just like everywhere, if I'm remembering this correctly, and they just have much better technology. So it's like this underdog story that you're playing out, and it's very cool. And if you're a big fan of the franchises, you'd really enjoy these.
hmm. I no, I've never actually played any of those. I think War of the Ring occasionally gets played at our game night. Yeah, because that's
Mm.
just a two-player game, right?
They're all yeah,
Yeah,
all of them are.
yeah. That
Yeah.
one gets played sometimes. But yeah, I don't usually go for just the two-player games because they are so scary and confrontational. I don't like that all the time. I just want
Yeah,
to do
they
what I
are.
want to do.
And it's just like
um,
a lot. It's a lot of rules and a lot of setup, and yeah.
with the way that you're describing the Dune War for Arrakis, though, with sort of like a David and Goliath thing. It makes me think of maybe one of those things were an inspiration for Root and how those different factions feel so different throughout the course of the game. Like,
Hmm.
was it the cats are starting? Marquita cat starts everywhere, spread all over the board, and the was it the birds? No, is it vice versa? I don't remember who starts off as
The
really strong.
Woodland Alliance is kind of the one that sort of is the underdog. They're like the rebellion. The bird, yeah, the
Right,
birds
right.
too. The birds start popping off.
Yeah, yeah, but like there's the different power levels, the different parts of the game, which you could really only achieve that in a asymmetric game like that, or
Hmm.
one of these big war games, Star Wars, War of the Ring, or Dune War for Arrakis.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, that's kind of a fun scenario to play out. And
Hmm.
funny enough, in Root, while the cats start out everywhere, they are regarded as the least powerful faction in the game usually, or the one that usually loses at least in the core box.
Yeah, I've definitely not spent enough time with that game to know more beyond that. It's just a bit
Mhm.
overwhelming there too. But Root, I'm fascinated by that idea of like the super in depth asymmetrical character abilities.
Now, Gaming Hoopla has this big giant raffle. They call it the best raffle ever. It's one of the biggest draws for the convention. They have all these big and fancy deluxeified Kickstarters and these bundles. They had a root bundle. They do like geek up bits and things like that. And I put a bunch of my tickets in the root collection because I needed to get. I wanted. I don't need any of this. I wanted to get the Marauder expansion for it, and there were a couple others that stood out to me. I was like, okay, I got all these tickets from teaching games. Where am I gonna plug? Where am I gonna put my luck? And Root was one, and then Inventions, which is the latest Vital Lacerda game.
Oh,
And I don't know much about it, but I love Vital Lacerda games. So I was like, all right, this one's cool.
and did you win any of them?
I won none of them.
Oh, there
No,
you go.
it's
Well,
4 years gone. I haven't won anything at the convention yet, but one of these days it's gonna
if
be
the
my
year's the
day.
charm, you're definitely gonna
Yeah.
win next year for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know how you feel about like Vital Lacerda level games, Harrison, but we've talked about the Gallerist before too, because that's one I do have in my collection. And I think you said you've played, right? Or no, Kanban.
I
You played Kanban.
I have only played Kanban EV, yeah, and I'm open to trying other ones, but I am very, very like pretty sure it's not for me type deal.
Yeah.
Uh, they were it. How did I describe Kanban EV? It was like the least amount of distance between like a board game and a spreadsheet. It,
Yeah.
it looked like fancy set dressing for an Excel spreadsheet, which like I love an Excel spreadsheet, but I don't want to do competitive Excel at all.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't think Gallerist feels like that to me. It's definitely heavy, and I think the concept is true about this one and Galactic Cruise, where you are trying to accomplish something, and there's just a lot of steps to doing it. Like the hook of the game is like launching rockets, or in this case, selling art. But in both games, it's not as simple as just having the art and selling it. It's like you have to like discover the artist, you have to promote the artist, you have to raise the value of the art. It's kind of complicated to an extreme for some people. But there's some heavy gamers out there that are like, oh yeah, give me more of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Navigating those systems. I
Hmm.
wish I did like them more, but I don't know. Maybe I need to try it again. I'd
Hmm.
be okay with that. With being wrong on this one.
Yeah. Well, Invention's where we started with this. I don't know anything about, but it's the same designer, so I imagine the same level of complexity, but
Yeah.
very stunning looking. Super cool, like steampunk aesthetic going on here.
Oh, cool. Well, trying to think of like what games I might have won from a raffle at some point, but I just stopped keeping track of all those because once I got into like demoing and then started actually getting into the game industry, I just started getting games here and there and left and right, and then stopped keeping track of where I was getting them from.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, that's a weird brag. Sorry to include that in the episode. Feel free to cut it.
Well, it's
uh,
fun in.
yeah, yeah. No, the last time I was at a board game raffle though was I attended for work the Man versus Meeple party after Gen Con last year, and they were raffling off a copy of the Pokemon version of Splendor that's only available in Korea. Someone like got a copy of it and brought the Korea version only, or the Korean only version to it
Mhm.
and donated it to be a gift. And that looks super cool. I'm not a huge fan of Splendor, but I would definitely play Pokemon Splendor if I could. You've seen that, right?
Yeah, I have. I've seen that
Yeah.
one. That was also a Gaming Hoopla raffle prize last year.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Nice.
it's cool. Splendor is one of those games where it's like I enjoy it. I'm not always seeking out opportunities to play it, but I always like it when I do. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just is.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Easy to teach.
Good introduction to engine building.
Mhm.
What's the word? It's refined, It's like
Yeah.
refined and it's not overcomplicated. It could do too much.
Yeah, that's one that we don't actually have in our collection, and I know you're a big fan of, Splendor Duel, right?
Yeah, Splendor Duel is better for sure. More complicated by, a couple of tiers, but certainly not a complicated game. It's just it adds enough to make it more interesting to me, I think.
I feel like I've said, every time Corey mentions Splendor Duel, I say I like that, or I think I should check it out, so maybe I should still check it out, but
Yeah, BGA. Well, I'll play it with you on BGA. I can teach you
Oh,
there.
that's true, yeah, BGA, yeah, send me an invite after we're done with this, and then
Sure.
I will forget to check my email for 2 weeks, and that'll time out.
Splendor Duel, Seven Wonders Duel, obviously. I mean, there's a whole bunch of really great duel games out there, and I'm always eager to see if they take the dual version of the game where they've added and refined the concept of the base game that was already successful, and then they ever bring it back to like a multiplayer version with those same ideas intact. I don't know if it would work for Seven Wonders Duel because it is so like back and forth. It's almost like a
Right.
tug of war. But I think
Seven
there's
Wonders Duel Battle Royale.
yeah, I think that yeah, I think there's something in Splendor Duel that can be brought back to Splendor and done in a four-player version because it's nothing that's exclusive to one-on-one.
Maybe you do a 3-player version, and so you can have, the tug of war between 2 different opponents.
Splendor Thruel.
Seven Wonders Trio. Yeah, we can't add all these fake games to our list, can we?
No, those don't count.
Okay, alright, not yet. Maybe in the future when they announce it, then we can add it.
But you did say Trio. Trio's a game.
Oh, Trio?
Yeah, you know
Oh,
Trio?
that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
card
an
game.
Amigo card game?
It is cocktail games.
Oh, Cocktail. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Corey, guess what?
What?
According to my timer, we're at 49 minutes, and I just wrote down the 50th game.
No way.
Yep. Do
No
you want,
way.
do you want, do you want me to run them back for you?
Holy cow! I wasn't even paying attention. I did not realize we were that close to the end. Yeah, run 'em back. I'll cross check them. I got 50 games on the list too.
The 50 games we got here is Can't Stop, Unmatched, Dice Throne, Role Player, Marvel Dice Masters, Marvel Champions, Marvel Legendary, DC Deck Building Game, Ascension, 20 Strong, Too Many Bones, Cloudspire, Hoplomachus, Forest Shuffle, Galactic Cruise, Endeavor Deep Sea, Endeavor Age of Sail, Innovation, Glory to Rome, Monopoly, Great Western Trail, El Paso, Pax Pamir, My Little Scythe, Scythe, Pirates of Maracaibo, Terra Mystica, Terra Nova, Molly House, John Company, Cards Against Humanity, Arkham Horror, Apples to Apples, Lost Ruins of Arnak, Clank Legacy, Imperial Assault, Descent, Slay the Spire, Star Wars Rebellion, War of the Ring, Dune War for Arrakis, Root, Inventions, The Gallerist, Kanban EV, Splendor, Splendor Duel, Seven Wonders Duel, Trio.
We did it.
We did it.
That's 50?
Yep, that was 50.
Wow. I made the
Yeah.
mistake of using a Google Doc rather than a Google Sheet, so that would have automatically
Mm,
counted for me, and here I am trying to figure it out.
there you go. Well, if you really want to, you can just edit down the whole episode to me listing off those 50 games, and bada bing, bada boom, there you go.
Yeah, we'll bookmark it. TLDR, skip to the end.
Well, any other games that you didn't get to talk about that you want to add to the list?
Um, no. I mean, we played Raw this weekend too. I love that game. I thought we were gonna have time, Harrison, but it just flew by. I mean, here we are.
Raw, 51. And you know what 51 reminds me of? 51st State.
Oh, snap.
Yep. So we got 52 games now.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm not going
Extra
to include
credit.
those. Yep. All right. Well, we have talked to your ear off long enough. Corey, you got anything else you want to add?
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to 50 episodes if you've been around since the start.
And if not, thank you also for listening. If this is your first episode, I'm really sorry. This is a weird one. Tune in last week for something more normal, or next week for something maybe more normal. We'll see.
You've just listened to Adamantly Analog episode 50. Thanks for sticking with us until this point. Adamantly Analog is Corey Murphy and Harrison Don. Original themes and bumper music by Corey Murphy. Yes, I did just butcher my own name. Whoops, that's staying in. Catch you next time.
Thanks, everyone. Drink water.